Welcome to the Gritcast, where we get into the nitty-gritty of all things hockey. From the East to the West Coast. Here are your hosts, Matt Pierce, Nikosh Ganguly, and Darius Dominguez.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 8 of the Gritcast. It is officially regular season hockey time. Let's go! Yes, sir. I'm joined back by my fellow co-host, Mr. Mondays. What's up, bro? How you feeling today? Feeling good?
Excited for Oilers hockey.
Yeah.
How are they going to disappoint me this year? That's my main question.
And I'm also here with my good friend, my fellow Mississaugian, Darius. What's up, bro?
Is that what we're being called now?
I have no idea.
I'm very excited, man. The Leafs are back tonight. I'm ready to get my heart broken again. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. First things first, before we do, this might be a little bit of a long-ish episode, just because we're going to try and go through each team quickly.
Yes.
We're not
just
gonna,
like every other episode.
Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time on each team, but certain teams we'll spend more time on. I don't know how long we're going to talk about the San Jose Sharks for, but that might take up a long time. So, first things first, Hockey Canada, finally, the consequences got to them. I think like most of all of the board is stepping down.
Mm-hmm.
It's about time. There was I forget her name. Andrea, what's her last name?
Andrea Skinner. Yeah.
Skinner. She stepped down while the Blue Jays were blowing an 8-1 lead. So that was a pretty clutch statement by her.
Yeah.
You gotta say. But all is that's good to hear for Hockey Canada. The job is not done because they still have a lot of abuse cases to deal with. So, that's just the first step, getting everyone stepped down, get a culture shock in there. What do you guys think of the whole Hockey Canada finally stepping down, Matt?
It's a start, but like you said, it's not enough. There's still all the trials to go through and, naming names from like the 2018 and 2003 cases. I'm surprised it didn't just burn it all down and start from scratch. They kind of want to sort of build that name again, but I don't know how well they can rebuild the Hockey Canada name without having that attached to them forever.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a step in the right direction, obviously. Again, I'm surprised, like Matt said, that they didn't burn it down and start from scratch with a new name or whatnot. But, if they do enough good here moving forward with new board members and whomever, I think they can salvage the name, at least. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. is what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, like the people who were there, who are no longer there, it wasn't going to happen with them. When the culture is this like toxic, you have to start from top to the bottom. Like you have to get rid of everyone. Like if you do not see the problem, which clearly they didn't in everything that came out in the last few days and weeks, you have to leave because it's never, if you don't even see the problem, you can't even start to address it. So definitely a step in the right direction. And hopefully, for our sake too, Hockey Canada can be, saved. The name at least.
Yeah, I just want to say, for us, I don't want to say like, I think we can all admit we're not the most informed people on this topic.
Sure.
But obviously, we're here to just make our views known. That obviously, we don't really. I don't think anybody with half a brain is messing with Hockey Canada right now. And then lastly, I just want to say on this podcast, we're gonna keep giving you the information that we get as it comes out, but we're not gonna like. I don't really feel that we have enough background to really comment on it.
There are people telling the stories.
Yeah,
that should be, and they have the info. So if you want to read it, like go there. We're not gonna tell. Like we're not gonna be the ones to.
Yeah, we're the ones. Yeah, you guys have all heard it. You scroll Twitter, so yeah. That being said, let's do a hard right turn into the NHL regular season premiere. So we're kind of late to the party on this one. We probably should have done it last week, but I was sick and I didn't have time to think about hockey for too long. We still did do that podcast though, which was cool.
Life got in the way. Let's just say that.
Yeah, shit happens.
What's that?
But it's just like let's break it down. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna try. I on the document I wrote like one question that we can kind of discuss for each team, and then we'll kind of dive in, see how long the conversation goes, and then we'll go from there. So first division, we will cover the Atlantic Division. So first team, I'm just gonna do in the order I wrote this down. The Toronto Maple Leafs. So one thing I wrote down for them is John Tavares is gonna play tonight in the regular season opener, which is massive. Another thing is they sent down a bunch of players, put a bunch of players on waivers, which is what every team did. But how do we think the Leafs will fare? We know they're going to be good in the regular season, but Matt, I want to ask you, because obviously me and Darius are like, we're biased Leaf fans. You're like, we hope they're going to make it. But when you, I don't know how much you've been able to follow along, just all teams in general. But when you look at like their roster, do you think they actually can have a really strong regular season, maybe finish first in the division, and maybe make some noise in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they win the Atlantic, and it won't be close either. I think they'll win it by a steady margin, just because, teams like Tampa, they played a lot of hockey in the last 3 years, and it'll catch up to them. But following you and other Leaf fans on Twitter, like Steve Dangle, you guys seem a little more optimistic for the Leafs this year compared to other years, because you feel like this is the year you can finally get over the hump. And I don't see no reason why you shouldn't. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, they're all hungry and they know what it's like to, feel that disappointment for, 6 years straight. So this will be the year where you finally get over the first round hump. I don't know how deep it might get, like conference finals maybe, but it'll be certainly more than a 7th game defeat in the first round.
All right, Darius?
Yeah, I think they definitely win the division. And it's definitely not close. I actually don't think the Atlantic's as good as people say it is, but I'm sure we'll get into that. It's not that it's as good, but I just don't think it will be as close. Yeah. But yeah, they run away with the division. I know, biased Leaf fan, whatever, but they have such a good team this year. If you can put your biases aside, which I think a lot of people, maybe in the media and even fans do, where they're like, oh, the Leafs are not as good as they should be, whatever that narrative is this year. Like, they're a really good team. I think they should win the President's Trophy. And I think because they're finishing first in their division, they'll get, hopefully a lighter playoff opponent. Like, I don't know if that even exists anymore, but it won't be like Tampa, let's say, because they'll probably finish in the division. So as long as they can get, like, not Tampa in the first round and just get over that hump, I think they can go far. I think they can go Stanley Cup final, and then it depends who they're playing from there. Like, I just don't see that many teams in the East better than them, and as hungry as them. Maybe the Rangers or Carolina, but they haven't got what the Leafs have in terms of, like, the disappointments, like how badly they want to get over that hump. So,
yeah. For me with the Leafs, obviously regular season, they're gonna be sick. I agree with you guys. I think they win the division. As Matt said, Tampa. They're just played a lot, and also it doesn't seem like they care too much about the regular season anymore. Like, they don't really. They're like, okay, playoffs, we'll get going. Boston is going to do the Atlantic is going to be weak, I think, in the regular season, but in the playoffs, Tampa and Boston are going to like really turn up. And I have both of them making the playoffs. And Florida, their forward depth is still just as good as it was last year. Their defense is shaky. Aside from Ekblad, it's not too strong. Bobrovsky, you don't know what you're going to get with him. Spencer Knight is still a wild card just because he hasn't played that much. So, yeah, they at least will win the division. There's a playoffs. This team, you never know. They're super deep forward. Matt Murray and Sam Stone both look good in the preseason, but that was against Ottawa, Montreal, and Detroit. So, eye test, they look steady. So, yeah, I just think they're going to make the playoffs first round. We'll see what happens there. From then on, don't really have much to say about them. It's really just the same storyline as last year almost. Just got to come back and get over that hump. So, as for Toronto. Boston, doing a lot of injuries. I think McAvoy, Grizzly, Marchand, they're all injured. They put Nick Foligno on waivers and sent him down to Providence the other day, which is kind of funny. But how do you guys see the outlook for the Bruins this year, dealing with their injuries? Bergeron and Krejci coming back with being older. They might give the keys to Jeremy Swayman this year. Their defense is a little lackluster. They signed Anton Stroman. Darius, what do you think of the Bruins this year?
I think injuries are really going to kill them because, again, like, they still have those core pieces, but they're, like, a lot older now. Like, I don't think people can really expect them to be what they were or even carry the load for that matter. Again, the goaltending might be pretty good. I think I would expect it to be pretty good, maybe even carry them. But yeah, they might squeeze into the playoffs. I don't know if I would have them making the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. If they did, like, first round exit. probably. But again, I don't think they're going to be a bad team. It's just the injuries are plaguing them. But it should be interesting to see what happens with Pasternak at the end of the year too. So
yeah, that's true. That's a big storyline as well. Like
depending
on
where
there was like a week. There was like a week where like he was going to get traded. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
Like it was a little limbo thing before Bergeron signed. Krejci was coming back. So yeah,
I think he was unsure of where the team is going, right? And I think
so
again at the end of this year, where's the team going? Because Bergeron's going to be done.
That guy's going to make a lot of money. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
For sure.
Matt, what do you think of the Bruins going to this year?
The top six, looking on Daily Faceoff now, it looks pretty steady. Taylor Hall, I want to say, is week to week, but even then, like in that top six, you have Bergeron, DeBrusk. The second line looks really solid on paper with Pavel Zacha, Krejci, and Pasternak. But really, it all depends on how well Jeremy Swayman can perform this year. If he takes that next level, or if he just sort of like plateaus. He wasn't too bad last year, but he obviously wasn't good enough to get him over the hump against Carolina in 7. I've been anticipating Boston's downfall for a number of years now, and it just doesn't seem to happen. And this year, I don't think it will happen.
Straight on the downfall. But yeah, next up, the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, not really too much to say about them. They made the Cup final the last 3 years. They're still a juggernaut. They're a little bit older. They've played a lot. They in the off season they extended like literally everyone. I think they have some injuries going into the season. I think Cirelli has a pretty gnarly injury there. Yeah. So nothing really much to say about Tampa. There was the whole Ian Cole thing that if you guys want to know about that, I would recommend going on Twitter and looking at that. Just
so, can I say something for a second, Nick? I remember I was watching the first period last night, and they mentioned that Ian Cole like suspended with pay. That's just
unbelievable.
I didn't read too much into that, but still, like after the allegations, that's kind of the last thing you want to do, especially there's that whole Hockey Canada snowball, and it's just disturbing to say the least. But I just wanted to get that off my chest.
No, dude, for sure. It's just so just a trigger warning: sexual assault and grooming. Ian Cole. If you wanna check it out, just go on Twitter, read the statements, read everything. Pretty
lengthy too.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic. So, that's that. But yeah, Tampa. I don't really have much to say about them. I think they're gonna be like similar to last year, where they're gonna be cool in the regular season. They're gonna go hard in the playoffs. Basically, the whole core is back. So I don't know if you, Matt, if you have anything special to say about Tampa this year.
I'm just getting sick of Tampa. They're pretty much like the Pens a few years ago, where it's they're running the table again. I'd like to see some parity.
Yeah, I would say the same. I'm pretty sick of them, but I would expect them to be pretty good, make the playoffs. See what they do there.
It's like almost like a jealousy of like how consistent ever since the Columbus sweep. It's just how like well-oiled of a machine they've been. Like 100%. Even losing in 6 to Colorado, it's not like Colorado like ran over them. Mm-hmm. It was still a pretty close series.
I'd be interested to keep an eye on like if the fatigue is a factor, like if a couple of them get injured or something, or they're out for a little while, and it's like, do they even make the playoffs now? That's the only thing that maybe might be interesting for them, but I think it's status quo for Tampa this year, to be honest.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Next up, the Ottawa Senators. Lot of stuff happened in Ottawa this year. Tim Stützle's got a massive extension. Josh Norris, massive extension. They brought in Alistair Brinkett. They brought in Claude Giroux. Their top six is as formidable as I think anyone's in the league. They changed up their goaltending a little bit. Cam Talbot's injured, but they got him. They got Anton Forsberg. They extended. Only question I think surrounding Ottawa is number one, can they take that step in terms of standings? I still don't think they're a playoff team. But also number two is, can they bolster their defense? Like, can it hold up? And I don't think it can. Darius, what do you think about Senators' roster build-up so far?
They don't have much defense. I've heard they want to make a trade. I'm very interested to see what that
Chikrin. I've heard Chikrin for like months now.
But like until it happens, but like that would be great, but until it happens, cool. Talbot's out, so that makes the season and my prediction very interesting now. But again, like their forwards are really good, and they made a lot of really good moves that adds not only skill but like leadership. Like you add Drew, who's been the captain of Philly for so long, and he's older, and he can still really play. So I mean, they made a lot of really good moves. I just wish they had like one, maybe two more pieces on defense, and then I would like be ready to be like, yeah, 100% they're playoffs.
Yeah,
but I still think like they could make the playoffs. I think some interesting things are going to happen this year. So that's my thoughts.
Matt?
I have them as a playoff bubble team with Talbot, like a healthy Talbot that sort of reaches them closer. But like you said, the Atlantic, it's not as strong as it used to be, but it's not like they've completely dropped off. It's not like the Pacific Division where like it's mostly weak. But just looking at their defense here, it's all mostly young guns, right? I mean, like Shabbat, Jake Sanderson, Zaitsev. They're still holding on to Eric Brandstrom for some reason. They haven't seen anything special in him. So it pretty much all relies on their forward group, and more importantly, that top line of like Kachuk, Stutzla, and like insert name here, Batherson or Giroux. It just all depends on that forward group to sort of carry the load and sort of play a running gun style to help out their defensive core.
Don't take penalties against the Senators. They'll make you pay, I think. That power play is going to be very, very lethal. Another team who's on the rise, Detroit Red Wings. They added some guys around the edges. They added Billy Husso, David Perron, and they also signed Andrew Kopp. They added Ben Trott as well. And we're looking for improvements from guys like Lucas Raymond, Dylan Larkin, Tyler Bertuzzi. They have obviously Mo Sider, a bunch. Simon Edmondson also is there. They have a bunch of guys who could take steps. I feel like people are still waiting for Zadina to show his NHL like and everything else he can do beside his like lethal like wrist shot. But yeah, do you guys see Detroit on like the same level as Ottawa, or like below them, or like in the same playoff bubble too?
I might see them. Sorry, just go ahead. Go first.
I would say they're below Ottawa. Honestly, I think Ottawa has some of their guys are older. Like some of the young guys are older, and they added some older talent. Whereas Detroit, like the team's still really young. Your team's only going to go as far as your goalie takes you, and their goaltending was not good. But again, like really good pieces to build off of, and they added a few guys in Kopp and like Perron, and that'll help. But I don't think this is still very much a building year for them. So I don't think they're going to take as big as a step. I think we'll see things, but they're not going to take a step, if that makes sense. Like we'll see some hope, but they're not gonna over promise, I think so.
Sure.
Yeah, the only area that the Red Wings have over the Senators is goaltending. I see the Senators or the Red Wings having, I don't know, it's a very shaky defensive core outside of Seider, because you have, Sherratt with that massive contract, which I don't know why Yzerman decided to sign him to that. But I mean, Husso and Nedeljkovic, I'd take that all day over what is it, Hellberg and Forsberg.
For now.
For now,
until Talbot gets back from his injury. I'm not too sure how long he's out for.
I think I would take Talbot and Forsberg over Nedeljkovic and Husso, though. I don't know. I feel like Nedeljkovic was very, very, very bad last year. I don't know if you guys were able to watch him, but everything went in.
I did.
Everything went in. Sorry, Matt. I just wanted to say that. Continue.
No, it's fine. Yeah, he's always due for a bounce back year. But yeah, Husso, I think he's going to have a very good year in Detroit this year. You saw him in St. Louis last year. A little bit of a better roster in St. Louis, but, he's got somewhat of the experience to carry the Wings to, I don't know, maybe a ninth or 10th place finish. They won't be terrible, but they also won't be a playoff team.
I agree with that. Teams that are not very good include the Montreal Canadiens. They didn't win a preseason game, which preseason doesn't really matter, but that's also pretty funny. So a lot of things happening in Montreal. Carey Price has a press conference next week. I wonder if he announces his retirement. A lot of things going on there. They also have a bunch of guys. Sapkowski made the team, which is, I don't know, a little bit surprising to me. But that guy would have been primed for the AHL. Makes more sense. Suzuki and Caulfield look like they're going to have decent seasons. They also have Sean Monahan. They traded Jeff Petrie, got back Mike Matheson, and I think he's gonna miss this week, but he's a solid player. They got Jake Allen still there. He's decent. We talked about him last week. Obviously Montreal's not gonna make the playoffs, but do you think they'll be like last year they felt like a sorry team? Like it was like, damn, like they're just bad. But this year, do you feel like they're a team that can like still lose games, but also like be in every game? Like they'll be like at least competitive. Matt?
No, I think they're gonna suck hard for Bedard this year. They are going to tank. Like there's not much else I can say about the Habs besides they suck. And I'm ready to anger a lot of Montreal fans, but I don't understand French, so good luck with that.
All right.
I think they're gonna be. I think this year they'll be similar to the first year Babcock was with the Leafs, where they were like so bad, but they were the best worst team ever, if that makes sense. So like I think they'll probably be more in games than they were last year, especially against better teams. I think they're going to compete. They got some young pieces that will be exciting to watch. Like there's actually incentive to watch instead of just like, wow, these guys are bad and they're going to sell off at the deadline. So there's that aspect, but like they're just going to be bad and they're probably going to be last in the division. Maybe the league. I think maybe only Philly might rival them for that. So it should be interesting to watch, but not much going on in Montreal this year. Besides like watching the young guys. And again, like with Slafkovsky, like Nick said, like I'm surprised. I think a guy like that, watching him in the preseason, a guy like that could benefit from time in the AHL to start because he can. 100%. Some guys in Ontario, if you're European, you can go straight to the A. If you're from here, like you can't. So because of the stupid rules, but anyway, you can't. So having the opportunity to have him in the A and kind of develop him out like that, like he could benefit from it. But I don't know. It should be interesting. Like I think Montreal is just kind of like they want him in the lineup because it looks good. But we'll see. Hopefully that works out for them. I hope it does.
You almost have to wonder if the Habs have a quota of like French goalies they need to have on the roster because Montembeault is terrible.
Oh my god, that guy! You know they gave his locker room to Carey Price. Sorry, the opposite of what I said.
He does not deserve that whatsoever. Like games where Jake Allen is starting, okay, they might have a chance, but if Montembeault's in net, like bet against the Habs.
Take the over. Take the over.
Take the over for sure. He's not good. There's got to be like so many better goalies in the A that are better than Montembeault.
Well, they want to insulate Caden Primo a bit more because last year they were just like, all right, good luck. So they want to have him in the AHL. It was funny though because like we talked about Caden Primo the other day, and the other day like he was playing a preseason game, and like I think the Habs had a goal, and I follow a few Habs fans on Twitter, and all of them are like, Caden Primo stinks. This guy sucks. This guy's an ECHL goalie. I'm like, damn, okay. Because I don't know. I know he had a lot of like stock when they picked him. A lot of pedigree because he was a decently high pick. He was all right before, but I guess not. Moving on to the Buffalo Sabres. They did a lot of extending their players. They extended Tage Thompson. They kept Craig Anderson. They brought in Eric Comrie. They didn't really do too much. They're this is a growing year for them. Last year was the Eichel trade away year. See what you can do. Jeff Skinner had a renaissance year. So let's see what the Sabres can do now as they're growing. One thing they did do today was sign what's his name? Matthias Samuelsson. He has played 54 games in the NHL. 12 points.
0 of them are goals.
No goals, and they gave him I believe it is 7-year deal worth $30 million, and he makes $4.285 million per year, and he has 54 NHL games played. Dennis Morgan has 198 games played. So,
well, I don't know if that's entirely the same thing, but
no, but it's kind of funny. It's just kind of funny.
Remember like 2 podcasts ago when we were like, hey, Kevin Adams, yay or nay? And I was like, yeah, for sure, good, you should keep him. This is like, bro, what are you doing? Like anybody could have told you this is a bad idea.
I think the first person that he messaged like, is this a good idea? He texted like Peter Chiarelli. It's like, is this a good idea, Peter? Because the last deal I could think that was that awful for the amount of experience was Koskinen. Like, bias aside, that was terrible because I think Koskinen had less than 20 or 25 games started, and he got a $4.5 million deal for 3 years.
Peter Chiarelli, by the way, set the Oilers back at least 2 full seasons. By the way,
and then Ken Holland has set them back. I could go on for an entire episode.
Ken Holland set the Oilers back ethically. I don't know about on the ice.
To go back to Buffalo though, they'll take a step. I think, and I think they're better than they were last year. Some good pieces. Owen Power should be interesting to watch, but
changing the culture,
and they should definitely look at new goaltending for next year. So those are my thoughts.
Oh, dude. I mean, they have Devin Levi and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
No, but I mean, like, hurry that up. Like, see what you got there, or get something something going here.
Dude, running Craig Anderson and Eric Comrie all year, I don't know if that's
insane.
At all.
Yeah.
But yeah, as Jerry said, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be cool. I feel like Sabres fans will have a fun team to watch now that they don't have to deal with the Eichel thing.
No more drama. They're just kind of playing. Yeah. They might not be good, but at least they're just playing.
There's a lot of cool pieces there. Darlene, Power, Alex Tuck, Peyton Krebs, John Jason Paterka, who I'm a big fan of. Jack Quinn is there now. So yeah, Chase Thompson, Jeff Skinner. So they have a few good guys. They're gonna be a cool team for Sabres fans, which is good for them because they haven't been a cool team for a while, even with Eichel. So yeah, last team in the Atlantic we'll cover quickly. The Florida Panthers. They had an explosive offseason. They traded Uyghur and Jonathan Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk. Now their defense is a little bit on the shelf aside from Ekblad, who is really good. Ekblad is amazing, but their forward depth is still pretty good. And they still have Bobrovsky, still Spencer Knight. Is the only thing you guys see bad about the Panthers here their defense, or do you see any other holes in their lineup?
I do. The forward depth is cool, but they switch coaches. So if they switch systems, yikes. Because the system they were playing last year allowed their forwards to be spectacular, and then the depth came in and it was really nice. And you didn't really have to worry about defense, and I don't think they did last year until they faced Tampa. But their defense is a problem, but again, like the system and stuff too, they have a new coach. And Bobrovsky, oops. So we'll see how that works out. I think they take a step back. I don't even know if they make the playoffs. They got worse. Like, they for sure got worse. Tkachuk is cool player. They got worse. And they could have signed Huberdeau. They didn't have to trade for Tkachuk. They didn't have to, especially not yet. It's Calgary's problem. But anyway, I think they got worse.
Yeah, they definitely got worse. Looking here, because they lost Marchment. He was a very good depth scorer last year. And like defense, Ekblad, you don't really have. They have Mark Stahl. They have Gustav Forsling. Not really anything to write home about. And last year they played a very run and gun style. Like, they could be down 5-1. Okay, let's just score 4, and then win in overtime. And then they realized, and then they realized that doesn't really.
I was there for that. God.
And they don't
continue. Sorry.
Yeah, they realized that style doesn't really work in the playoffs, right? So, but yeah, like Darius said, I think they're going to be a playoff bubble team this year because it's Paul Maurice, and you can only outscore your mistakes for so long until it catches up to you.
Yeah, I think last year with the Panthers too, they won a lot of one-goal games. Like, they came out on top. Like, I remember one year the Buffalo Sabres won on like an 11-game point streak or win streak or something, and like. All those wins were like shootout or overtime wins. So like they were just coming out on top of like toss-ups. Like overtime, the shootout especially, it's a toss-up. You know, whoever wins. Overtime, you can rely on skill a little bit, but it's also just like this guy is tired and made a line change at the wrong time, so someone scored. So that's overtime is fun, but it's also just a 1 point toss-up, 1 goal makes all the difference in the standings. But I know Florida won a lot of those games. For the playoffs last year, I thought Florida was going to get, like, Washington was on them for a little bit there. I think that series was done in 6, but it didn't feel like it was that lopsided for Florida.
Dude, Washington was not supposed to be in that series at all, and it was a lot closer than it should have been. And then Florida got destroyed against Tampa, like fraud zone. Like you're in the fraud zone.
They scored 3 goals the whole series.
Yeah. You let that Washington team take 2 wins from you after the season you had? What are you doing? They should have swept Washington they scored 3 goals against Tampa. What do you want me to say?
I also think that's why they brought in a guy like Paul Maurice because, experienced coach. I don't really play into that personally, but to me, that's probably the mindset. And then number 2, Matthew Tkachuk is more built for the playoffs than I guess Jonathan Huberdeau would be, even though Jonathan Huberdeau is fucking sick. Let's move on now to the Metropolitan Division. First things first, the Pittsburgh Penguins and their band of old men. They got Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang all under contract now. Crosby was already under contract, but you know what I mean. Dude, Brian, who's the GM there? Hextall?
Yep.
Yeah, Hextall. Yeah.
That guy did an amazing job. He brought back Brian Rust, Rickard Rakell, Evgeny Malkin, and Chris Letang. He brought back all of them.
Yep.
Crosby's under contract. Gensel's I think he's under contract.
Yes.
They still have Tristan Jarry. They traded for Jeff Petrie. They have him there. So this team is solid. I think they're going to be very good this year. They haven't been able to make it out of the first round since they won their cup, which is crazy. The Islanders have their number. The Rangers, I think the Rangers only beat them last year because Crosby and Jarry were injured. So, how do you think it's just status quo for Pittsburgh this year, or how do you think their season goes?
Yeah, status quo. They're always that team that you can expect to make the playoffs. They're not are they in or out, but they're always in. It's the experience that helps them. Like you got Sid. Like Sid's not getting old, but I think he's 30.
It's 34,
35.
Yeah, 35.
So yeah, looking at their defense too, like you said, Letang, Petrie, Dumoulin. I don't know why I said Dumoulin. Jarry and I think DeSmith is their backup. So they're always an interesting team. They were never a boring team to watch. So yeah, status quo. Not much more I can say about the Pens other than status quo.
I think same thing, status quo. I always forget about them, so I don't pick them to make the playoffs, if that makes sense. Like I'm always like, oh, look at this team over here, look at Carolina. But it's like, no, they're there, they're good. And I think you just forget about it because they're boring in a way because they're always good. So you can expect them to be second, third in the division. And they're going to be a good team again this year, and they added Petrie, like you said. So, dude, they got Crosby and Malkin. They're going to be sick.
Yeah, and Mike Sullivan is a really, really good coach.
Yes.
I think he always, those guys, half the team will be injured and they'll still scrape together a bunch of wins. So
they beat the Leafs 7-1 last year with Evan Rodriguez as their first line center.
I think that was the year. Wasn't that year before?
It was last year.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Leafs started off.
I remember that.
Year.
That was the beginning of the year where they were 500. Yeah. Wow. Shit happens, eh? But yeah. Pittsburgh, they're gonna be cool. I'm glad they brought back everyone. Their team is very deep. They have as another top 6 that can just chill with the best of them. I really like that they brought back Rickard Rakell. I think he's gonna be good there, playing with either Malkin or Crosby. Pick your poison. But yeah, they're gonna be sick. Chris Letang had one of his best seasons ever last year. At the ripe age of whatever he is. I know he's old. I don't have it off the top of my head. But yeah, Pittsburgh's gonna be good. Moving on. Washington Capitals. They made some sneaky good moves this year, I thought. They brought in Darcy Kemper, who was one of the better goalies last year. Despite being even with me on Colorado, I thought he was solid. If you take that out. And then they also brought in guys like Dylan Strome and Connor Brown to help insulate their depth. They're missing Nicholas Backstrom. He has a very, very touchy injury there. I don't know what's going to happen. But the main question is, the whole storyline following the Capitals is, number one, are they done? It doesn't seem like, are they just going to be pass the puck to Obi, get as many goals as he can? Or, especially when Tom Wilson gets back and when Backstrom gets back, is this team a legit, I know they're going to make the playoffs, but will it do anything in the playoffs is a question.
For the past few seasons with the Caps, I feel like they weren't going to do anything because Ovi got his cup. Ovi just cares about the goal chase, but they always seem to make it much closer than I thought it was going to be whenever I'm heading into the playoffs with them. So it's just, it's the same thing as Pittsburgh. Status quo, you know what you're expecting with them with Ovi and even with Backstrom and Wilson out because they still got Oshie, they still got Kuznetsov, Marcus Johansson, Lars Eller. So it's pretty much the same supporting cast, just in a different lineup shakeup.
Yeah, I agree.
I think same thing, status quo. Ovi's still there. He's going for the record. I don't know if they probably don't make noise in the playoffs. Really, probably first round again. But it's all about the goal chase. I think now in Washington, they got their cup. Ovi has his cup, but the fan base, I think, you can die happy now. So it's just a goal chase, and I'm rooting for him. So should be interesting to watch for that reason.
Yeah. Next up, Columbus Blue Jackets. They signed Johnny Gaudreau. Biggest acquisition of the offseason, you could argue, although it was pretty packed offseason. Aside from that, there's some young players there that are interesting. Kent Johnson, Cole Sillinger, two very interesting players to look forward to there. On the back end, they still have Zach Werenski, Adam Blockquist. So they're going to be cool. They had to move on from Oliver Bjorkstrand, even though they gave Eric Goodbranson a 4x4 due to cap reasons. But yeah, Columbus not going to be that good, but it's they have some fun players, I think. Gaudreau and Werenski are pretty dynamic. So do you guys have are you guys going to be interested in Columbus this year just to see what Gaudreau was doing there, or what's the word with Columbus for you guys?
You can go first, Darius. I think I've gone first.
Yeah, probably
like
just
2 teams.
Probably just the Gaudreau thing. Laine, very interesting to watch. Like you said, Ken Johnson, very interesting to watch too this year. If you're a Columbus fan. But yeah, like nothing special. They haven't put it together yet. I think the Gaudreau signing, like for him was good to be closer to home, but also the team was more of like the long play. Because like I don't think they even expected themselves to be good this year, but it was kind of like at least we have Gaudreau for like 7 years, so we will be good.
Like, why would you not?
Years down.
Why would you not?
Exactly. Like if you can do it, right? But I think it's more of the long play where they're like, okay, we got the pieces in place here. What can we do with them in the next couple of years? So I still think they're not that great of a team.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I had no idea until looking at Daily Faceoff here that both Korpisalo and Merzlikins are injured. I know Merzlikins is day-to-day, so their tandem in net is Danil Tarasov and Jet Greaves. That's all I really have to say about Columbus is like good luck with that tandem, because really, if you told me to name all 32 NHL teams, I think Columbus would be the one that I forget. They're such a forgettable team. The only time I watch them during the season if the Oilers are playing them, because Gaudreau, Laine, forgot they had Jack Roslovic. He was pretty fun to watch when he was a Jet, and then he got out. Cole Sillinger, so it's pretty much just like a wait and see roster with him in the next few years. Nothing much more to say.
It's funny because their first line is like, what is it? What does it say on Daily Faceoff? Gaudreau, Boone Jenner, and Laine. That's a really, really, really good first line. I think Gaudreau and Laine are going to be so fun to watch this year. But other than that, it's just like, they'll be cool. It'll be a lot of fun seeing Gaudreau and Laine build the chemistry. Laine will probably score a lot of goals, so that'll be cool.
Sorry, Nick. Here's my question: does Laine get 50 this year with Gaudreau?
No.
Darius, does Laine get no?
No, but
How close does he get?
He's going to be between 30 and 40 goals.
Okay, I was going to say he gets more than 40, but not 50.
He'll easily be point per game. He'll easily be point per game
for sure.
Yeah. So now we go on to a young team that I'm pretty excited for, New Jersey Devils. A lot of stuff going on over there. They signed Andre Palat. Jack Hughes is going to be insane this year if he can stay healthy. Dougie Hamilton, New Year health, how the offseason to get himself back together. Should be very good for them. PK Subban no longer on the team, retirement. Couple of young guys. Damon Severson is still there. They're really good. Jesper Bratt also. I think the Devils are going to be a lot of fun this year. I don't think they're a playoff team by any means, but I think they're going to be a super fun young team to watch. They're still growing. Most of them are young. Their goaltending is a little bit shaky, I think, with Vanacek and Blackwood, but I think they're going to be a really, really fun team to watch this year. They're going to be cool.
That's pretty much what you said. They're a fun team, but they won't be like a playoff style team. It's like Team North America from the World Cup, run and gun style, but they just weren't good enough to get to the big stage. Because you have like Hughes. It all depends on how Blackwood can bounce back, because he was really good in the 2021 bubble season. But last year, I think it was all the Team Canada hype that got to his head, and then he just fell apart from that. So hopefully he should bounce back.
Maybe. I think they'll be a very exciting bad team. So
yeah,
that's all I got to say, because you guys hit the nail on the head, really. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs. They were really bad last year. They might not be as bad, but they'll be exciting at the same time. So, but they won't be a good team.
Yeah. The Islanders, not too much happened there at all. Aside from a coaching change. I believe Lane Lambert is now in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to say about the Islanders. They extended Barzell. Literally nothing else. I don't think they did anything else. So, what do you think? You think the Islanders? They're gonna be in their home arena the whole year. New coach. Big juicy extension for Matt Barzell. They're all older now. They still got Pulak and Pellick. Sorokin's gonna take the step. Are the Islanders a playoff team, Matt?
No, I think they'll finish second last in the division.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, just like that.
A bit harsh, but yeah, I don't know really. I don't know what Lane Lambert can bring to the team. I don't know what kind of style he'll bring. It'll surely be a lot better than Trotz's system. That was boring to watch.
Trotz got them to those conference finals himself. Like, that was coaching. Like, the team was not. Yeah. No,
it wasn't good, but the style it was figured out by other teams
for sure.
Wallstrom. I really like Dobson. He's fun to watch. And then you have Sorokin. He's gonna have a good year. That his back is gonna hurt by the end of the season carrying that team.
I heard that turning around and looking in the back of your net is bad for your back. So
pretty much, yeah. But yeah, the Islanders. They're a pretty vanilla team.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say.
Some good pieces there. Like you said, Sorokin he'll freaking fantasy darling this year, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, some exciting pieces. They got the Barzells and stuff, and maybe they might be more exciting to watch because of the coaching change. But I don't think they're a good team. I don't know what everyone's coming up with this shit. Like, they went to the conference finals straight off of coaching and style. Everyone bought into their system. But now I don't think they're that good of a team, man. And Lou did nothing, man.
No.
Nothing. But that was his move. Anything. His big move was doing nothing. I think
look how much better Calgary got. You know what I mean? Like, in one off season, and it's like this guy's standing around. He just expects that. I don't know, man. You can add pieces. You telling me they're not a better team if they add Kadri? They could have, but anyway.
They got Soshnikov. The Rangers.
4 points this year.
The Rangers. I think they're gonna be good this year. Lafreniere, Kako, all primed to take a step. Same thing with Filipino. Keandre Miller looks like a stud. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's gonna be really good. They also they got Adam Fox. They got Jacob Trouba, new captain for them. Igor Shesterkin is a top 2 goalie in the year at any given moment. Artemi Panarin, Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad. Last year, all the analytics said that the Rangers weren't a great team, but Shesterkin was one of the best seasons we've seen in forever. But I think this year, with what they've added, with the young guys taking a step, I think the Rangers are like a legit contender. How do you guys feel about the Rangers going into this year?
Yeah, I think they've given Shesterkin a better supporting cast around him, just because last year he did so much, and this year they told him, okay, we'll help you out a little bit. Like you said, Keandre Miller, I think he'll have a really good season this year. They got Kreider. It all depends on if the kids sort of repeat their playoff performance, like Keedle, Lafreniere, Kako. Not really much more I can say about the Rangers. They'll finish top 3 in the conference, but I think they'll lose in the second round because I don't think they'll make it to the conference finals this year. But
okay,
I'm just going around in circles. The Rangers, they're a good team, but they're not a great team just yet.
I see. I think if the young guys take a step, which they've shown, and they definitely did in the playoffs, like they were a pretty good line, that they'll be a good team. I think they definitely need the young guys to step up, though. But yeah, I think like Mika hits 50 goals this year. Like, he's unbelievable. And he just keeps getting better. And I think they're a really good team. I know a lot of people are really high on them, and then some people are like, I don't know, they might, fall out of the playoffs. They might not, do well in the playoffs. I think, like, personally, this year, my pick, they're my pick to win the Stanley Cup. I think they're that good, and their goalie's that good.
Yeah, they are well built. I will agree with that. Next up, Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh boy.
So what I wrote here is the Flyers will be bad, but will they have an actual identity this year? Last year, they were just a bad team. They didn't really do anything. There was no like, oh God, the Flyers. At least when you play some teams, when you play the Devils, you know they're gonna be a young running gun team. When you play some bad teams, you know what they're gonna do. The Flyers with Tortorella, I feel like they're gonna be a bad team, but very, very, very shitty to play against. I think that's the goal from them. I think I have them last in the division. Unless Carter Hart goes crazy, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Even if he did go crazy, they still wouldn't make the playoffs.
They're still bad.
Yeah. Sean Couturier avoids a catastrophic surgery. Ryan Ellis is probably never going to play again. Their defense is lacking. They brought in Tony DeAngelo. They extended Rasmus Ristolainen last year. Ivan Provorov is still there. Travis Konecny might be their highest scorer. Joe Farabee is still there. JVR is still there. Nothing really to write home about. The Flyers are going to be. I think they're going to go back to their their identity of what the culture of what the city holds. But they're not going to be good this year. No. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
I don't think Tortorella lasts more than one season in Philadelphia. He's going to lose that room so quickly. Because I feel like that's a team, they cannot play mean hockey at all. Like, you have guys, you have Nick Delorier, but I don't know. It's just they're not a good team, and he's not the right coach to get them off in the right direction, because Tortorella, he's much better when he has more structured teams. He can get more out of them, but with the Flyers, he'll make for some good media tidbits. That's it. Not much more I can say. Not much more I can say about the Flyers other than I feel bad for Philly sports media.
I think their identity this year is going to be, they're still bad.
Wow.
Because they're going to be...
That's rough.
They're going to be really, really bad. And I'm sorry to say it because I actually kind of like the Flyers. But they're going to be awful. And I think it could go either way. Torts is, like Matt said, he's either going to lose the room real quick and last 1 year, or everybody's going to buy in. They're going to be a really shitty team to play against. And they're going to bring back the Broad Street kind of... they're just going to beat the shit out of you, but they're going to lose every game. And I think that's going to happen. I'm going to be honest. I think some of them are going to buy into Torts, because Torts, say what you want about him. I've seen some videos and stuff.
He's a motivator.
Dude, he makes you want to run through a wall. I'm just saying. If Torts was to talk about your life to you, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I should get out of bed and do this shit. But I don't know. He's a really good motivator. And I think that team is, I think they're pissed that, the rest of the league looks at them like a laughingstock, like the way we talk about them, right? So I think, if it's different when you play on a team like that, I think you get pissed. So it's going to be interesting to see. It could go either way, really, but I think they're going to be really bad, but really shitty to play against.
Yeah, I thought they were going to try to improve more in the offseason, but they didn't. It seems like
Chuck, they got Rasmus Ristolainen.
I mean, it's an ownership, executive, Chuck Fletcher problem there. I feel bad for their fans because it's always bad when the management themselves are bad. There's teams that are bad, but their management is good, and fans can be okay with that. The Flyers are in purgatory. We talked about this before. Last in the division. Last team in the Metro, Carolina Hurricanes. They did a decent amount this offseason. They traded for Brent Burns. They signed Paul Stastny. They lost I think Vinny Trocheck to the Rangers actually. Not too much different for them. We're looking for stats from Aho. Svechnikov, they got Martin Nikash. He's good. I'm a big fan of his. And now they got rid of DeAngelo. They basically replaced him with Brent Burns. Pacioretty's recovering from injury. So the Hurricanes to me are always a team that's going to be really, really, really good. They don't have too many players that people would consider bad. But they just don't have the X factor. I don't know about you guys.
That's a perfect word to describe it. The X factor. They don't have one. And year after year, we're this is a good team with good players. But they don't have the X factor and they don't get over the hump. And again, this year, I think they've done some really, really good things and they've added some amazing pieces, especially with Pacioretty. But it's does that get them over the hump? And I don't think there's an answer for that until it happens. So it should be interesting. They'll be a great team again, and the season could end like it has the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Matt?
I'm on the opposite side. I have these guys going to the Cup final. I don't know. I just got that weird feeling that Rod the Bod is finally going to get them over that hump, and then they'll be in the Cup final. That top four with Slavin, Burns, Shea, and Pesci, that's going to be really fun to watch because they're always such a solid team defensively, and I think Burns will get them over that hump. He's aging, yeah, but he'll bring that playoff experience that was well needed on the back end.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt, in the way that like I feel like at any point this team could just fucking obliterate everyone because they're so deep at every position. But I just think I always thought Andrei Svechnikov was going to be that guy because I was just a big fan of his coming out of junior. I think he's just a lethal goal scorer. He was sick in the OHL as well. But yeah, I think Hurricanes are just waiting for like one guy to be that good. Seth Jarvis is really sick. I don't know if he's going to be an X Factor type player, but they have a good mix of guys who are established NHLers, young guys, and veterans now. So I think they have a really good mix, and they're not like shitty veterans. We're like, they're just can't ski anymore. They're all like so solid NHL contributors. So I agree with you, Matt, that they can break out at any time, but I just don't. I just need that. They just need that guy. Every team that wins the cup or makes it far in the playoffs, they have that guy, right? Colorado has McKinnon and McCarr. Tampa Bay has like 4 of those guys.
That's unfair.
Yeah, and like the Rangers have Shesterkin. It's just like the Oilers have McDavid. So it's just like every team has that one guy that can like do it for them. And I think Carolina's trying to do it more by committee. And it just seems like in the playoffs it hasn't worked for them yet. But I'm also of the like I could be convinced that they could just make it to the Cup finals, and that wouldn't be that surprising to me because they're so deep. We'll move on to the Pacific Division now. First things first, Vegas Golden Knights, they won their first game yesterday. Mark Stone looks like he's really, really good. So I'm excited for that. I'm very interested in the Mark Stone, Jack Eichel 1-2. I think they're going to be so much fun this year. Jack Eichel, watch out for that guy. He's going to have a monster season. The Golden Knights are deep everywhere except for goaltending. Robin Leonard out the whole season. What do we think of the Golden Knights without a real established goalie this year?
I'll let Darius go first on this one.
A lot of teams didn't have good goaltending last year, and they still made the playoffs and did well. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if or just made the playoffs in general. I don't know if goaltending has as much stock in it as it used to. But it just depends on the system they play and if they need to rely on their goalie. Nobody's really said he's a bad goalie. He's just unproven. So maybe he can prove himself to be a number 1 in the league this year. We'll see. I don't know if that's
Logan Thompson.
Yeah, who knows, right? Like he's still young. Has anyone pointed at him and been like he's a bad goalie? Like he's a proven bad goalie. You know what I mean? Not yet.
No, it's just they don't know.
Exactly. So like we don't know, but to base your predictions of the season on like will he be bad or good? Like well we don't know, and based on the rest of the team, I think they'll be pretty good.
Yeah, before you go, Matt, I just want to say they have 3 guys that could like Brossoit, Hill, and Thompson. One of those guys have to be like, at least be able to be there for 50 games and make some saves. So I think they're going to be cool, Darius. I agree with you, but yeah, Matt, what are your thoughts on the Golden Knights?
Like Darius said, not much stock in the goalie position, even in the Pacific. Even though there are guys like Campbell, Demko, and Markstrom, most teams are able to outscore the mistakes in the division. So with Eichel and Stone, I feel like they have the ability to score at will, and then they'll get to the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like even if you take away Stone and Eichel from the equation, just looking here at the lineup, I didn't watch any of the game last night, but I did see Stone's winner. But they have Kessel, guys like Riley Smith. They have Jonathan Marchessault. It'd be interesting to see if they get a bounce back season from Marchessault and Carlson, because I feel like you haven't really heard about those guys ever since their inaugural season, but they were also the main names there. So yeah, they'll be an interesting team to watch in the Pacific. And I feel like the Pacific, there's like 4 teams at any given time that could win the division.
You're not wrong. Like it'll be a more competitive division than it's been in a long time.
One of like Vegas, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, like put any four of those teams in any order, and I could believe you.
Yeah.
That's how lopsided the division is.
I don't think Vancouver's gonna make it.
Okay.
Well, let's jump into that then.
Yeah. I don't. They're cool, but of course they have. There it is, but I mean, I think LA is better. I think the Golden Knights are much better. Calgary and Edmonton are easily better. Yeah, I don't think Vancouver makes the playoffs. Maybe they'll push for the playoffs. They added. I don't think their team is very, very deep. I'm a big fan of Pedersen. I think he'll bounce back this season. Brock Besser is the guy who was supposed to score 30 goals every year, who hasn't scored 30 goals that much. And then they added Mikheyev, Andrei Kuzmenko, who have been solid. But Demko is the real X factor there. I agree with you, Matt. I think that guy's gonna have a monster season. Might even propel him for the playoffs. But I also look at their defense. Quinn Hughes is really good. Maybe a Norris candidate this year. Other than that, their defense to me doesn't jump out. They have the guys like Travis Dermott, Tyler Myers aren't really that appealing to me. Even after watching Dermott for so long here in Toronto. I just think LA, as I said, LA is much better. The goal, so I don't think Vancouver, they might push for it. They might get lucky for some injuries with other teams. But yeah, unless Demko has a season that we think he's going to have, I don't think they'll make that big of a push for the playoffs. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, no, I have them making the playoffs over LA. Full season, but Boudreau. It should help them. Not much more I can say. I just really like watching Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, they're going to be a much better team than last year this year. I don't know if they make the playoffs. I would like to think that they do. I think they take a step. I don't know who they would make it over, but maybe a wild card finish. But I think they're a lot better than people are giving them credit, and definitely better than last year. So,
yeah, for sure. I'm with you. Next up, another Canadian team, Calgary Flames. Biggest offseason we've seen in forever. Lost Gaudreau, lost Kachuk, brought in Kadri, brought in Huberdeau, brought in Mackenzie Weegar. Their team is still stacked as ever. Daryl Sutter's a good coach. Markstrom, aside from being scared of the Oilers, really, really good goalie. So I think Calgary, Edmonton, and Vegas, I think can all challenge for the division. I'm not as high on Edmonton as others, but I still think they're going to be good. But yeah, how good do we think the Calgary Flames will be after having so much of their core change this year?
They have players that are capable of buying into Daryl Sutter's system, and as much as I hate to say it, I think they'll win the President's Trophy this year because they have a much better team than when they won the Western Conference regular season title or whatever banner that they have in 2019. Because better goaltending, they have Markstrom and Vladar as opposed to 2019. I think it was like Mike Smith and Cam Talbot. No, was it Talbot? No, Mike Smith. It might have been Riddick, but still, that's a much better team than they had that season. And guys like Huberdeau, Kadri, Weegar, I think they're going to be a phenomenal team this year. Again, as much as I hate to say it while wearing Oilers gear, they're just that good.
Yep. Curious?
Yeah, I think maybe not President's Trophy, but I think they're like a 2, maybe 3 seed in the league. Like they're that good. But they had a huge offseason, and their goaltending should be good. I think just because Markstrom's a little bit scared of McDavid doesn't mean he's not a good goalie. And they have some amazing pieces, and their defense got better than it already is. And obviously adding Huberdeau, I don't know. It should be a good season, man. Like, they're going to be a good... Not much to say. Like, they should be a good team without the additions, and they're going to be even better than I thought. So, they'll probably top the division, to be honest.
Yeah, they're going to be good. Next up, Edmonton Oilers. Matt, go.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Jack Campbell. I'm excited to see, out of all the players on the team, Dylan Holloway. I think he could be bias aside, I could think he could be in the top 3 for the Calder this year. He's going to be that good, especially riding shotgun with Draisaitl and Hyman. That's the projected second line of the team. But they're just it's still the defense that's scaring me a little bit because the only real stay-at-home defenseman is Nurse, and even then he likes to jump up on the rush once in a while. But this is a team that can score at will, score in bunches, and can do anything that they want at any given time.
I think the Oilers, they're going to be good. Dylan Holloway, I think, is going to be a good fantasy pickup if he gets that wing eligibility. Jack Campbell, we'll see what happens with him. Very solid month with the Leafs. Other than that, was a little bit lackluster. Had a decent playoffs, though. But yeah, I think the Oilers are going to be good. They're a deep team. Evander Kane staying. PRV stayed through all that RFA contract trade and all that stuff, which was good for them. They're a little bit deeper now. So I'm a big fan of Evan Bouchard. I think he takes a step this year. I hope he gets PP1 eventually over Tyson Barrie. I don't think that'll happen, though, because that's been Tyson Barrie's job his entire NHL career. Darius, any thoughts on the Oilers this year?
I thought it was interesting that Matt said that Holloway was the most interesting player for him when the Oilers have McDavid. I think that's very interesting.
Well,
but,
that's the obvious one. That's the obvious one.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just kidding. But no, I think it's like status quo for them. Like they'll be a good team. I think it's just like roll it back to the playoffs. I don't know if Matt agrees, but it's like, yeah, a few pieces here and there. Like you want to see how they perform, but it's kind of like, all right, let's get back to the third round and go from there. I think that's what they're thinking about.
Yeah. Now we go to the Anaheim Ducks. Not too much to say about them, honestly. Jimmy Drysdale, Zegras are going to take steps. Troy Terry's going to have a monster year. They got Klingberg to trade at the deadline. I don't think they're going to be. They're better. I think they're better than the Sharks. Maybe worse than Seattle. What do you guys think of Anaheim going into this year?
Yeah, not much else to say. It's just they're one of those teams like Columbus and New Jersey where they'll be fun to watch in a few years, but currently right now, not so much.
Yeah, a lot of good young pieces that will be like really fun, and I mean, like I guess Zegras is fun and all this stuff, the Michigans and whatnot. But
skilled up.
Yeah, but I think in a few years from now he'll be not just him, but like the whole team will be like really, really fun and good. But right now, like they're not there yet. They're still young and they're still adding pieces. They don't have like a complete lineup yet, so they're still. I think there's a lot to be hopeful about in Anaheim, but it's not like a Philly situation, but they're not going to be good.
Yeah. Agreed. LA Kings, a team I'm very excited to watch this year. They added Kevin Fiala. They're gonna be solid. Kopitar, no. They got Quinton Byfield, who's probably gonna have a decent season, I think. Yeah, I like them all around. Victor Arvidsson, Drew Doughty's back from injury. I think he missed the Oilers playoff series, right?
Yep.
If I recall correctly. Jonathan Quick and Cal Peterson, very iffy on them, but between both of them, they'll probably still be solid. I think the Kings make the playoffs, third or fourth in their division. Are you guys at all excited for the way the Kings are built this year, or what do you guys think of them?
Sorry, if I can go first. I really like the Kings. I think they'll finish really high in the division. I think they were showing signs of it last year, but they have a lot of really good pieces. And then like last night, like Gabe Vilardi, like I haven't heard his name in a while, and I knew he was like going through some stuff, but like looks good. Byfield looks good. You didn't even mention Sean Dursey, who looks amazing. Their goaltending
Except for
situation.
that giveaway at the end.
Yeah, of the game, but like I mean, in general, he looked really good against the Oilers too in the playoffs. I know I saw people clowning him for that giveaway last night too, but the goaltending situation is really good. I think Quick is still pretty good. Cal Peterson's a good backup. They're going to be a really good team, man. Kopitar's still there, like he's not that old. That they're going to be really fun to watch.
They're going to be good.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the Kings.
Yeah,
Matt.
Statues aside, I think they'll take a bit of a step back this year. I don't see them finishing higher than Vancouver. I could go deeper into that, but episode's running a little long. But yeah, they're a fun team, but I don't think they'll replicate the success that they had last year.
I disagree with you, but we can talk about that another time. We already kind of discussed that. Seattle, question for you guys: Will they be relevant?
No.
They missed the opportunity last year. They messed up. Like it's cool that they got Shane Wright. He's gonna be a great player, but nobody cares already.
Like other than Matty Beniers and Wright, there's really not much to be excited for in Seattle.
Yeah, I like that they added Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand. I think that's gonna help their offensive depth.
Bjorkstrand is a steal, but
yeah,
it's just not enough to get them on the right track.
No.
Yeah,
Start winning games, they'll be cool again. Or
and,
to start, I guess.
And last year, Jared McCann had 50 points and led their team in scoring. So, maybe they'll be a little bit better this year. But they have a lot of weird mid-tier defensemen. Philip Grubauer was one of the worst goalies in the league last year after being a top 3 in Vezina voting. So we'll see what Seattle does. I'm not going to watch them much because I don't really care. Next up, the San Jose Sharks. Same thing with them. I don't think they're going to be very relevant. They have a lot of old guys on big contracts. They're not going to be that good. Timo Meier is up for an extension, I believe. We'll see what happens. Logan Couture is signed forever. Erik Karlsson is signed forever. Mark-Edward Vlasic is signed forever. Yeah, they're going to be shit. Mike Greer, we'll see what he does. It'll be interesting for them to see what happens. But, yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm excited for William Eklund. Big fan of his. I think he's going to be good. Other than that, yeah, the Sharks.
They're a trash team who's stuck.
Yeah.
Like, they're stuck with those contracts. They're literally stuck in the position they are, and they're trash. That sucks. Like, not much to look forward to be honest.
The most exciting thing about the Sharks right now are their new jerseys. That's it.
Those jerseys are beautiful.
That's where the franchise is at right now. But those jerseys are mint. Big fan of those.
They really are. They really are.
I'm with you on that. And I'm not a big jersey guy either. It's just they are very nice. But aside from trading Brent Burns, Sharks are kind of fucked. Moving on to the Central Division, Nashville Predators. Question for you guys. We'll try and stick to the main questions I wrote down here. Can Matthew Shane and Ryan Johansson replicate their Renaissance seasons? Matt?
I don't think so. No, I think it'll be more of the wealth will be spread throughout the Preds this season. Just looking at their lineup here, I didn't watch any of the 2 games against the Sharks in Europe because they were on at a stupid time. I'm excited for Philip Forsberg. I know they got Nino Niederreiter this year on the second line. Apparently he had a pretty good
He's
good
a big
weekend.
Get for them. He's
a good player.
Pretty good. Yeah. Their defense is a lot better than I remember. The Yossi, and even then they have Ryan McDonough, Matthias Ekholm, Dante Fabro. I was a big fan of his when he played Junior A. But yeah, the Preds, they're one of those teams that are there. They won't suck, but they also won't be anything to write home about this year. That's all I can really say.
They'll make the playoffs, and they're not making any noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, so, exactly. They made some minor tweaks that make them, I think, a little bit better, but they'll probably finish where they finished last year and have the same result.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Winnipeg Jets, massive culture shift there, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
Blake Wheeler no longer the captain. Coach, bring him in, try and fix what's going on there. But I don't have Matt in Manitoba. What do you think of the Jets?
He's going to be a lot better than Dave Lowry or Paul Maurice, because I think there is an earlier episode I was talking about where Bonus more or less called out the veterans on the team, telling them that they can't get away with what they used to, because it's his last head coaching job. He doesn't care. He's going to burn bridges on his way out. I don't think they'll be a playoff team this year, but they'll get very close. They're not an awful team. It's just the lack of depth that I find. Other than, Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers, and Connor. I think that top line is, I want to say it's like Ehlers, Scheifele, Connor. I might have the wings switched, but that's going to be a very, very good line.
I really like...
Offensively. Sorry.
Yeah. I really like Ehlers and Connor. But again, I don't think coaching is going to fix that situation in Winnipeg. A lot of the guys are halfway out the door. And I mean, especially with Dubois, he doesn't care. Does anybody watch this guy play? He wants to be out of there so bad. He's pulling the Columbus stuff where he didn't try every shot.
Already said he wants to go to Montreal, basically.
Yeah.
He's 2 years out from being
but if I'm Montreal, I'm looking at this guy if something bad happens here, you're not going to try. I'm not going to give up my, picks or whatever for you. I don't know, he just sucks out when stuff doesn't go his way, and that doesn't look good. And Scheifele doesn't play defense. I don't know, the team they're definitely not buying in, and they were a good team before, so it's if they're not buying in now, they're already halfway out the door. So I don't think
you almost have to wonder what kind of you almost have to wonder what kind of dirt Logan Stanley has on shovel day off that he could still stay in the lineup. Logan Stanley, other than size, he sucks. He doesn't even use his size. I watched him live. against the Oilers, and he's like 6'7", that plays like he's 5'11". He's not good. He floats along. Like, it's almost sad to see him get more minutes over a guy like Ville Heinola, because I know Jets fans love Ville Heinola, and I watched him live. Aside from one small mistake, he was probably their best defenseman all night.
Jets fans really want that guy to play. Colorado Avalanche lost a decent amount of depth. Andre Burakovsky is gone. Nazem Kadri is gone. They're hoping guys like Alex Newhook can kind of step up there. Bring that up. Goaltending is now on Alexander Georgiev and Pavel Francouz. Colorado, are they back in the Cup Finals? Yes or no?
I have them repeating.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, McKinnon and Makar are just that good.
Yeah, I know they are. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, they're a really good team. I don't see them repeating though, but they'll definitely probably finals.
Yeah. I agree with you, Matt. McKinnon and Makar are just insanely good. It's kind of like the McDavid Draisaitl thing, but except one of the guys plays defense. So, you can do what you will with that. They also have Rantanen and Landeskog, which are also unbelievable players. That team is still stacked despite losing Kadri and Burakovsky. Newhook is going to take a step this year. So, yeah, Colorado, they're either going to be in the Cup Finals or win the Cup, I think, also. So, yeah. Next up, Minnesota Wild. Cap constraints had them lose Kevin Fiala, but they have guys like Matt Boldy and Marco Rossi to kind of, maybe take on some of that onus. How do you guys think the Wild will do despite losing a guy like Fiala?
I think they could finish top 3 in the division. Because even with like Kaprizov, he's not good enough on his own to lead them to the playoffs. But they've got Fleury, right? They got that veteran presence in net. Not so much a wild card anymore because he wants that cup to retire with. But that top line: Kaprizov, Ryan Hartman, and Zuccarello. They've got a really good second line. They got Jost, Eriksson, Ek, and Foligno. And it all depends on like the young guys, like you said, to take that next step. They got Rossi and Boldy, and you almost have to wonder if like Sam Steele can sort of have like a new spark in Minnesota because he didn't do anything in Anaheim.
And Kalen Addison is also there. He's supposed to be very good offensively.
I think Boldy will be fun to watch. I think obviously Kaprizov. Again, I think they're not a bad team. They're still going to be a very good team, and I think they've finished probably top 3 in the division again. Because it's not a weak division, but they're a good team.
Yeah. Next up, Chicago. How bad do you think they will be? And where does Patrick Kane get traded?
Nice. Matt?
Trying to think on that second part there. It all depends on which team can make the most cap space for Kane at the deadline. Because what were the top 3? Like Toronto, Edmonton,
Colorado,
and the Rangers. Oh, I don't think.
Do you know where I think he's going?
Where's he going?
I picked him to win the Stanley Cup because I think he's going to New York.
Oh, interesting.
And he's going to play for the Rangers, and they're going to win the Cup with his help. And him and Panarin are going to, the connection. They're back, baby.
That'd be pretty sick. They're
back, baby. I think he's going to New York, man. I think they're going to win the Cup, honestly. But Chicago's going to be shockingly bad.
Yes.
They have nobody. Like, at least, like, when we talk about teams like Philly and stuff, like, they have nobody. Like, Chicago has nobody. Like, who are you watching? They traded DeBrincat. They traded Doc. Who's left?
Seth Jones.
Bleak. It's
next
looking
up.
bleak.
But yeah, Chicago, nothing to say about them. They're going to be very, 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 very bad. They're going to get either Mishkov, Fantilli, or Bedard. So good for them. Kyle Davidson is having a fire sale, and you can debate whether he got back for value for anybody he traded. Next up, the most boring team in the NHL, the Dallas Stars. They gave Jason Robertson a 4-year extension. Do they make the playoffs?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they play.
Like,
they don't make the playoffs. No.
Like, unless like Ben and Sagan have like career like regenerating.
Even just Sagan.
Yeah. But it's kind of like one without the other, right? So I think if both of them can sort of like come back to what they used to be, I think they could make the playoffs. But other than that, no.
Yeah. Jake Ottinger's probably going to be still sick, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they make the playoffs either. And but Robertson's going to be sick. Like, he's going to have a really good year. But again, most boring team in the NHL by far.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Robertson and Rupe Hintz. Also, Joe Pavelski's probably still going to be good. He shows literally no sign of slowing down. So, yeah, though I was going to say they're going to be fun to watch, but I'd be lying to you guys. They're not going to be. Yeah, but they could push for a playoff spot, I think, depending on how good Ottinger is. But I don't expect too much out of them. Next up, the St. Louis Blues. Is their cup-winning window out? Ryan O'Reilly is going to last year's contract. They have younger guys like Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas, Pavel Buchnevich. Their defense, they don't have, after Pietrangelo left, they don't really have that guy anymore, but they still have guys like Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, Parayko, Scott Rudovic is going to be there, and they opted to keep Jordan Binnington instead of signing Husso. So I think they're a playoff team. Do you think they're a contender, though, for the Cup?
They're a playoff team, but they're not a contender. Because really, the only contender I think in that division is Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's not close either. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're probably not a contender. But I don't think the cup window has closed, if that makes sense. Like, I still think they can make some noise in the playoffs, like second round, maybe even third round. But I don't know if they can get over that hump of winning the cup again. Because like most of the guys who won the cup are still there, and they're still pretty good, like minus Pietrangelo and stuff. But I don't know. If it goes sideways during the season, though, it'd be interesting to see O'Reilly, because he's
that'd be kind of crazy.
UFA. So I don't know. That could be interesting. If shit goes sideways in the season, he could be on the way out. So interesting season 100%. For them. Let's see what happens.
And lastly, we know the Coyotes are going to suck. But let me ask you guys, how cool do you think their arena will be?
I really have no idea. I have no idea how to answer that. It's a 5,000 seat arena, but I saw the ticket prices for some of the games, and it's ridiculous.
It's regular.
It's regular seating. Prices. Yeah.
Pretty. Yeah. It's nothing special. Seeing some of these. Go on.
Like, it's such a joke. It makes the league look so bad, and nobody's gonna watch it anyway. Everyone's making a big deal, but the whole point of this is we're like, the Coyotes are playing in a 5,000 seat arena, and nobody's going to notice them. And nobody's going to notice them anyway because they're not going to be watching. It's going to be garbage anyway. So, stupid.
Yeah.
If it's 5,000 college kids in an arena, it'll be a fun atmosphere. But if it's 5,000 snowbirds in that arena, it's going to be boring to watch on TV.
It won't be 5,000 college kids because they can't fucking afford.
They can't afford that. Are you kidding me? I've gone to college.
1,500 college kids.
Maybe.
I'm being generous.
The Coyotes are gonna suck.
Yep.
Now, quickly, Darius.
Hi.
You already said you have the Rangers winning the Cup. Who's winning the President's Trophy? You said the Leafs.
The Leafs, and then in the final I would have probably the Rangers, maybe Colorado. Maybe even Edmonton. That would be my picks for the year.
Matt?
I had Calgary winning the President's Trophy, and the Cup final will be Carolina, Colorado, and I think Colorado will win in. You know what? This one's gonna go 7.
Nice.
It's gonna go the distance, mostly because we haven't seen a Game 7 in the Cup final since 2011. 2011.
Yeah.
So I'll go Avs in 7.
Wait, wasn't the Blues Boston Game 7?
Oh,
yep.
20. That one went 7.
Right.
I only watched like Game 5 and 6.
Matt
I don't think I watched 7 at all. I know nothing about the sport of hockey. That's why I'm on the podcast. But yeah, Avs in 7 over the Canes.
I will say, I think I could roll. I don't really have a pick for the President's Trophy. I think the Leafs could win it. I think Colorado could win it. I think Colorado's going to win the President's Trophy this year. They won the Cup last year. They're going to be on that Cup high. And it's so funny because I feel like if you take away, like let's say you just looked at the Leafs roster in a vacuum, I think a lot of people picked them to win the Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the jersey they wear and the logo that's on those jerseys, nobody's going to pick them. But I am picking the Toronto Maple Leafs to take home the Stanley Cup this year. They're gonna do it. 1/67, baby. Run it up.
You know what? I like to give like realistic answers, because people are like, oh, the Leafs would never win the cup or whatever. If they get over that first round hump, I don't know if there's another team that's as good as them. Honestly, like they have so much skill.
I don't know.
Top to bottom, I don't know, because their goaltending's like, I don't know. Let's not get into this now. We'll see how the season goes.
Let's wrap it up. Here. Shout out. Got to do my shout outs. Follow us on the TikTok. Follow our individual Twitter accounts. We're on YouTube. All that good stuff. 5 stars on Spotify. Give us a good rate on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Shout out Matt. Premium Zoom account. That's the homie. Shout out Darius. He powered through this despite his Wi-Fi acting up. So
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. My Wi-Fi's got COVID, man.
Seamless editing.
Yeah,
like you won't even notice.
Nobody would have even noticed, Nick. Come on.
Usually it's me with the shit Wi-Fi, but my internet seems to power through today. But that being said, last question: which rookie will have the most surprising season? I think Matt kind of alluded to Dylan Holloway. I don't know if that would be your answer, but Matt, who would you think?
I think Holloway would be like the homer pick, but I work with a New Jersey Devils fan. And throughout the last 2 seasons, he would not shut up about Alexander Holtz. So I watched Alexander Holtz highlights, and the kid's going to be good. Especially if he's on a line with Hughes and Palat. He's got a good release. He's got, the speed. I think I watched him in the World Juniors a few years ago, and the speed wasn't quite there, but he's built up on it. So I'm going to go with Alexander Holtz from the New Jersey Devils.
Curious.
So we're talking rookie seasons that will be surprising, right?
Yes.
I think Slavkovsky is going to be surprisingly bad.
Oh my God, this guy!
I knew you
were
going to go
this
there.
This guy hates Slavkovsky.
He's shown me nothing, and the fact that Habs fans, man, they're holding on to everything, bro. They're tweeting out clips of him like, "Oh, what a great rush," and then he turns the puck over and stuff. I think I'll give a serious answer in a second, okay? But I think just tidbit, he's going to be shockingly not a first overall pick. Anyway. My actual answer for shockingly good will be Logan Thompson from the Vegas Golden Knights. I think he's actually going to prove that...
He's still technically a rookie.
Yes, he is technically a rookie. I know that's weird, right? So considering he is technically a rookie and can win the Calder, I think he's going to prove that, he can be a number 1 or a serviceable goaltender. So that'll be my surprising pick. Nick?
Mine is going to be from the Anaheim Ducks. I don't know if he's an off-the-board pick, but his World Juniors hype was pretty cool. He's gonna have a lot of opportunities on Anaheim. I think he's gonna be really good. He was already good in his first NHL stint this year. He's also pretty young. I think he's born in 2003 in February, which is like
I don't think he's not even 20 yet. I think so.
Yeah, which is actually he's a month older than I am, which feels weird to say. Mason McTavish is my pick. With that being said, it's time for the NHL regular season. Hope you guys enjoy the games tonight and tomorrow. We'll be back. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you're listening to this. If you're driving, drive safe. And next week we'll have another NHL 23 episode for you guys. So get ready for that.
Trigger warning.
All right. With that being said, see you guys soon and peace out.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Gritcast. For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.